Chapter 11. God began a long journey across the ocean. As he traveled, he reflected on the greatness of Jehovah's wisdom in separating the lands with vast waters. These natural divisions served as protective barriers, keeping one nation from pursuing another, and allowing sacred refuge to exist untouched. But even more profound were the spirit ocean's intangible realms that dark spirits could not cross, preserving the innocence of newly born peoples. Jehovah's foresight had gifted responsibility to his gods and lords. The ship's commander had prepared well. Soon the glowing vessel soared above the clouds that covered the sea, speeding westward through the unseen spiritual skies. At the edge of the western land slater known to angels as North Gautama, symbolizing the meeting of nations, and the dawn of Cosmonth, the lord of that land, waited in his own ship to welcome God. As God descended onto the land, an ethereal flame enveloped him, and Jehovah's voice came through the light. Jehovah declared, "This land was the final ark of the world, just as Waga had been the first. When the entire earth would one day be surrounded by those who chose Jehovah, this would be the place where he would shine a great awakening upon the souls of men." Jehovah explained that here, through God and his lords, he would lay the foundation for his divine kingdom. A people would arise from this land, who would cast aside all false dominions and worship none but Jehovah. God was instructed to look upon the land, to see and prepare for the coming age of Cosmon. Jehovah said that his prophets would foresee what was to come, and that God's own soul would become imprinted in the landscape etched into mountains, rivers, and stone guiding future generations. The people of this land would one day, unknowingly, respond to that calling. In great numbers they would reject ancient tyranny, all gods and lords, and rise up in Jehovah's name. No lord or god would ever establish rule here through conquest. It was a land set apart by Jehovah for the eventual liberation of all humanity. Then the crews of both ships joined in reunion, joyful after 100 years apart. God traveled across the continent, east to west and north to south, and every sacred location the Lord had discovered was documented in the heavenly record. God then instructed the Lord to officially establish this land as part of Jehovah's future kingdom. The legacy would pass from Lord to Lord and God to God until the light of Cosmon arrived. The people who would live here until that time would never fall into worship of lords or false gods, but remain open to Jehovah's guidance. With this, God rested from his labors, and the Lord prepared a grand feast and gathering for all the angels under his care. They prayed, sang, danced, and rejoiced, sharing memories, prophecies, and expressing love in the same way mortals celebrate today. Once the banquet ended, God and his hosts prepared to depart. As the ship lifted and moved on, Jehovah spoke again. He commanded God to circle the rest of the earth, visiting every land, island, and ocean. He was to fly low, so his recording angels could closely observe the lives of mortals and the features of the world Jehovah had created. God fulfilled this final mission, traveling even to uninhabited places, and the angels recorded it all in heaven's archives. The journey lasted 1 year and 7 days. When it was complete, God sent messengers to his kingdom in Horde to announce his return, set sail for home.